Well, let's talk swamp. Two co-founders of the opposition research firm behind the controversial discredited Trump dossier repeatedly pleading the fifth before the House Judiciary Committee today. Fusion GPS partners Peter Fritsch and Thomas Catan refusing to answer questions about their involvement in compiling the opposition research. And they wouldn't tell anybody who paid for it, interestingly enough. Well, joining me now, Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations and Research for Judicial Watch. He and Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton and the whole organization doing just a marvelous job in behalf of the public's right to know. And first, thanks. And secondly, good to see you.
Thank you.
And let's turn to this Fusion GPS. This may be some of the most intriguingly sinister people involved in quote-unquote opposition research, and also some of the most arrogant, which is saying something in the swamp itself.
Yeah, this is these are headhunters. These are guys who go out and seek to make or break political opponents using all sorts of active measures and information operations campaigns. They look to either smear somebody or turn them into a hero. And they do it, using some pretty sophisticated means, and there really are no bounds to where they will or will not go.
So why isn't somebody going after them? Because they had a role here, and it's important that that role be understood. Or do they have so much opposition research, in quotes, that they can't be touched?
I don't think it's the latter. When it comes, look, Lou, the problem that we're facing, and I was listening earlier on the show, we've gone so far beyond the pale. As a country, we have slid off the edge into the land where it's really a giant socialist organ operating that protects itself. And so
you're talking about the deep state. You're talking about
correct. And you see offense after offense
of government at every level.
Offense after offense, and you find out that laws are for the little people. The Clinton gang walks away. People say, well, hey, where's the Department of Justice investigation? Where's the FBI? Half the time they're complicit. You just reviewed the whole saga of the Russian uranium deal going back years. They covered it up. The people who are knowledgeable, who had direct firsthand knowledge, who should have either brought prosecutions or developed investigations, they're the ones who kept their mouths shut for years.
But Chris, we're talking about the very same people who are pursuing without any evidence of any kind, whether as a result of more than a year of investigation by the FBI or more than 9 months of investigation by congressional intelligence committees, the Trump-Russia collusion.
Yeah,
this is maddening.
Not only is it maddening, this is evidence that we are becoming a failed state. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. When the entire Justice Department is paralyzed, where there's no investigations, no real investigations, there's these make-believe congressional hearings that are nothing more than, sound bites, and people openly flaunt and really hold the Congress in contempt. And then when Congress holds them back in contempt, nothing happens. But we have a paralyzed Justice Department and FBI. We have the key leaders either unwilling to do anything or they themselves are personally compromised. These are all sort of symptoms or evidence of a failed state. That's where we're going. And we're doing it fast.
It has been fast, but the law enforcement, intelligence agencies not acting quickly at all over the course of the last 8 years, particularly under the Obama administration. You talk about a failed state. Is there any better evidence of the corruption of the leadership of the FBI and the Justice Department than the fact that I can't think of a single investigation in the Obama era that resulted in even a report, let alone a successful resolution of a major investigation. You can talk about Benghazi. You can talk about Fast and Furious. All the FBI was sent in as a way to say, no, we can't talk about that. We're going to have to stonewall you, and we have as our perfect excuse an FBI investigation about which we cannot speak, and you never hear from them again. The FBI has become the place where investigations and truth go to die.
Correct. And you have Lois Lerner turning over 1.25 million taxpayer files to the FBI and telling them, go ahead and kind of thumb through them, see if you can find anything. Well, the FBI is then complicit in her misconduct. That's why there's no prosecution of Lois Lerner. That's why everybody at Justice Department just walked away from the IRS scandal, because they were in the middle of it. They're not going to investigate themselves. This level of corruption, really, I'm telling you, it's not an exaggeration. We are at the edge of being a failed state because there is no real accountability. There are no consequences. The general public sees this. They know. They know what's going on.
I hesitate to even ask this question, given all that you have said here tonight, and about the prospect of being a failed state. Let me ask you if there is any optimism in your dark perspective here tonight, at least, Chris, that says that the Judiciary Committee and Chuck Grassley, the chairman, can carry out a successful investigation of the Clinton corruption that goes back 9 years.
You know where the hope is, Lou? Frankly, the hope is in Judicial Watch, because we're going to carry on our own investigation. We don't quit. We don't go away. We don't forget. We filed a lawsuit 2 years ago, in 2015, over this CFIUS, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, and this Russia deal. We've been suing over this for 2 years. There hasn't been a single congressional hearing.
Yeah.
What member of the so-called leadership in the House and Senate even discusses the Alwan brothers and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her server?
Yeah, it is absolutely frustrating to
Judicial Watch will continue to pursue it. We're not going to let it go.